isn't going to be a very long lecture. We're just going to talk about multiplying radicals, okay? Andrea, can you close the door, please? Close this door. Close the door. Thank you. It's too noisy. Multiplying radicals, okay. So, let's just take what we know is true. Stuff that we already know. We know that the square root of 12 is also, it's also the same as the square root of 4 times 3. Agree with me?
Yeah.
Yes?
Is that it?
No, not yet.
Oh.
But we also know this, that if I have the two numbers underneath the square root sign, and they're being multiplied, I can separate them and put them under their own square root sign. So, everybody's with me so far. This is also true. I could say that's the same as the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. Yes? Remember this? I have showed this. So, let's do it in reverse. What if I said, what's the square root of 2 times the square root of 6? What's the square root of 2? Keep that door closed, please. Okay, square root of 2 times the square root of 6. So, wait, I'm sorry, Manu, can you sit down and take notes? Yes, would you guys agree with me? That's the same as saying the square root of 2 times 6, right?
It?
Which is the same as saying the square root of 12. But then we got to simplify that, right? Because you always write it in simplified form. So that's the square root of 4 times 3. Square root of 4 is 2. My final answer, 2 square root of 3. You know this part. You know this part. That's why I'm going fast. You know this part. All I'm saying is, but look, instead of doing 4 times 3 here, I had 2 times 6. Neither of these look like perfect squares, nor are they. But when I multiply them together, I get something that has a perfect square in it. And then I simplified it with the perfect square by taking one of these perfect squares that goes into 12. I said 4 times 3. Took the square root of that perfect square. What?
That's not, you're losing us.
All right. So if I give you two numbers to multiply together, and each one are in their own radical sign, then you can rewrite it, Bella, with the two numbers under the same radical sign. Okay? All right. Then you can multiply them out. And you got the square root of 12. You can. I'm just showing the whole process. You can do it. You can shorten this. I'm just showing you everything, right? So you understand it. I would not, personally, I would not write it like this. If I saw this, I would immediately say, oh, that's the square root of 12, right? But you have to understand why it's the square root of 12. It's okay to write them under the same square root sign, right? Then you get the square root of 12, and then all I did here was just simplify the square root of 12, which you already know how to do. That was my first lecture a week and a half ago on a week ago on radicals, right? Can you sit down and take notes, please? I'm not going to ask again. Next time you're going outside, okay? Good. All right. So what if I gave you this? What would that be?
20.
Square root of 20, right? You guys agree. Square root of 20. And that's 4 times 5. My perfect square. I like to write my perfect square first. 4 times 5. So what's the final answer? 2 square root of 5. Right? Yes? All right. Now, that's almost all there is. There's just one little more piece that I got to show you.
The hard part?
No, actually, this is easier. This is way easier.
Define easy.
What is the square root of x times, there's a lot of noise. Come on, guys. What's the square root of x times the square root of x?
X is.
So it's the square root of x squared, you right? Do you agree with me? What's the square root of x squared? X, because the square root cuts the exponent in half, therefore it's x. Wait a minute.
Oh my God, Gary.
Are you saying that the square root of x times the square root of x is equal to x?
Because something
Yeah,
times
we are,
something
Gary.
is
What you gonna do about
is a radical inside of itself, because a radical is something times something to equal what's in the radical. I didn't make
That
any
is
sense
so
right
radical,
there, but I
you
did.
do. That is so radical. Okay.
Radical, bud.
So-
So rad.
If that is true, if this is true, that the square root of x times the square root of x is equal to x, let's see if that works every way, all the way. What's the square root of 7 times the square root of 7?
7.
7? Are you serious?
Oh my gosh.
Gary.
Yes.
Square root of 49, I'll just check, I'll just do my checking. Square root of 7 times 7 is square root of 49. Square root of 49 is 7. Oh my God, you're right.
Sure.
All right, what's the square root of 13 times the square root of 13?
13.
Are you guys all with me?
13.
Skylar, you with me? Is it making sense? Skylar? Up here? All right, what's the square root of 20
Is it this
9
all gonna be our homework?
times the square root of 29?
29
29, oh my God.
Go, Gary.
What is the square root
of 21.
of
21.
Yeah.
21
Yes.
No.
squared?
21.
Gary.
That's
21.
21. Oh.
Is that really?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's 42.
Because it's 21.
Oh,
times
yeah.
21, which
It's
is
the
equal
square root of
to-
21 times the square root of 21. You're right, it's 21.
Oh my God.
Notice the square, guys, notice the square crosses out the square root. Okay? When the square is outside, when you're squaring the square root, it crosses it out.
When you square a square root.
The square root of 4.
Okay, shh, now you guys are getting a little wild. What if I gave you this? What is the square root of x plus 2 times the square root of x plus 2?
X plus 2.
Is that for sure? Are you sure about that?
Yes. X plus 4. No, X plus 2.
Are you positive?
Yes.
Yes.
No, wait, because you have the X.
So let's write it the long way just for a second and see. That's the same as saying this. The square root of x plus 2 squared. You right? Isn't that the same thing? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What does a square root do to a square?
It crosses it out.
Well, it cuts it in half,
It's the same thing.
right?
It'd be
So
X
this
plus
square
1.
root is cutting the square in half. So therefore, it's going to come out as x plus 2. You were right, Bella.
We win.
You
Yay,
win.
Bella.
You win.
I get
Alright.
$1 million.
What's
Oh,
the
yeah.
square root?
And then you give it
Uh,
all to Dee Dee.
3xy
And you give it up to me.
z to the 4th times
Gary,
the
we still
square
have
root.
now?
Shh. 3xyz to the 4th.
It's gonna equal
It's
3x, maybe.
3xyz to the 4th.
3xyz to the 4th. Okay? Good. How about this? Okay, I'm gonna throw a trick at you.
No.
What's the square root of 2x squared y to the 5th z times the square root of 2x squared y to the 5th?
Square.
Oh, 2x squared y to the 5th.
Okay.
Plus
It's the same
square
thing,
root.
just a radical sign, which is
Times
z.
the square
Yes.
root of z.
Right.
I win.
Yes, right. It's only the only things that are the same are these three, right? Those three. So I write those 2x squared y to the 5th. The z does not have a z here, so I have to write that under the square root sign,
Square root B.
right?
You can have a homework now?
Yes, we have the homework. All right, that's it.
Gary,
That's